Hi, I'm Ann Marshall with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and today I'm here with David Steiglitz of Oasis Senior Advisor. And I can't wait to hear, David, what you can tell us about your business and the very critical service that you provide. Where do you want to start?
Well, thanks, Ann. Thanks for the opportunity. And I appreciate the trusted relationship between us that we cross-refer back and forth to each other. And that's very meaningful. We kind of have a very niche business. It's a very unique business that most people aren't aware of, but it's become very valuable to our clients as we meet them and work through the process. We as a senior advisor, we are kind of like a realtor for assisted living. Our MLS is the database of all the assisted living. Every licensed community and residential care home in Northeast Florida is in our database. And much like you caravan around and do tours and walk through the homes to get a better feeling for them, my wife and I have personally set foot in just about every licensed community and residential home in Northeast Florida. And as such, we've developed a complete and unbiased database of information. But it's not just statistics, it's not just room size, square footage, and things like that, but also we pay attention to the personality, the culture. Are we seeing the same faces on the staff when we come there? Is there stability, or is there constant turnover? Because those are things that affect the residents. So is management stable? Do we hear comments, is the food good? Do we see smiley faces? Do we see interaction between the residents and the staff, or are people kind of walking around robotic and just going through the motions? So every place has a different personality. They have a different culture. And as we get to know our clients, a big part of what we do is matchmaking. Because if this is where you're going to live, we want to introduce our clients to an environment in which they can thrive and they can engage and where they'll feel most comfortable and not feel, not everybody is comfortable going to a Ritz-Carlton. Some people get pretty intimidated, and not everybody wants to go to a Motel 6. But there's a lot of things in between, a lot of different choices and stuff. So we take it very seriously. Not just the medical and the help that they're going to get, but also the personality and culture that we match them with.
So let me see if I can just translate this because it's a fascinating component of the senior industry that as you said, I don't think a lot of people realize is even available. So what you do is an assessment of somebody when they're looking at getting a higher level of care or some kind of congregate or facility living. And because you're so intimately informed and knowledgeable about the many resources in Northeast Florida, you can kind of match up where the person is, what their needs are, what their budget is, and their lifestyle with facilities that might be a good fit for them. Is that a good representation?
Exactly. Yes. So it's a multifaceted interview, much as you would do with someone looking for a home. How many bedrooms, what school district, all those things. So yeah, what is the underlying medical, what is the underlying reason that we're even looking for assisted living or senior housing? What is the budget? Where do you want to be geographically? Many people aren't aware there's 3 different levels of licensing in assisted living in Florida. That certain licenses can't handle oxygen, can't handle catheters, can't handle feeding tubes, and others can. So it depends. Do you have something that's progressive like Parkinson's that you're going to go through and need a lot of specific medical things? Then there's only certain communities that I would recommend on that side. So the medical side is very important. Certainly the budget. And along those lines, we can connect people. Is there a veteran in the picture? Many of our veterans, and especially their surviving spouses, are unaware of the aid and attendance pension that's available to them to help pay for assisted living. So we facilitate that. Are we really, very tight on the finances? Do we need to talk about Medicaid and Medicaid planning and what kind of places accept Medicaid and what role does that play? So there's a lot of different things. Is there some additional home health? Do we need to connect you with some home health people? Do we need to connect you with moving people? Do we need to connect you with good realtors to sell your house? All those things. Elder, have you done your end of life planning? Do you need another life attorney for advanced directives and things like that? Those are all part of the discussion that we have. And I love it when we go and there's, I go in and there's like 6 people sitting around the table. You got mom, you got dad, you got kids, and they're all really engaged in this because I pick up a little bit of different parts of the puzzle from each of them. And as we're talking, a picture emerges in my mind, and I start to think of, I think this person would be great for this community or that community. And it just, it kind of, our knowledge kind of merges with what I'm hearing. And then I, say, here's 3, 4, 5 communities. Let's go tour. In normal times, we tour, we go in person, we carry them through. I make sure that the community understands what's important to this family and this client, so that they're talking about the relevant issues, and carry them through the whole process until they make their decision.
Oh, I love that it can be a family decision. But I can imagine that for, especially if it's a single person, and they're faced with the daunting task of trying to find a place to live that's going to suit their needs and get rid of their family home that they've lived in however many years and all their possessions. It can be really overwhelming. So you really can take a lot of that guesswork out and help guide them through that entire process. And with your knowledge and being behind the scenes, as well as having that inside scoop as to the real pulse of a facility, can make some of those decisions much easier.
Absolutely, I like to think so.
To me, that's kind of like a no-brainer. What is the cost for somebody that's interested in your services?
Our service is free. There is no cost or obligation. The communities pay us a referral fee. And the first paragraph of our agreement with the community is their fees are their fees. They are not allowed to add anything on to try to recoup our fee. Otherwise, it wouldn't be free to the client. So the service is totally free. And the communities enjoy working with us because you can imagine how many people walk in off the street that aren't a match for the community. And how much time they waste with those people. They know if we're bringing them a client that, first of all, I've reviewed the finances, I know they can afford it, and I know that they can handle the medical and clinical needs, and that it's probably going to be a pretty good cultural match. And most of the clients, well, one of the metrics that we keep, Ann, is that we measure our success by is, did we do a good job matching? How many of our clients are still in the community that we help them find 2 years afterwards? And we're in the 90 percentile for that. Wow. So that is unusual for the industry. A lot of times people bounce around quite a bit before they find the right community. And we kind of cut through that, through the trial and error, and get them into the right place more than 9 times out of 10 the first time.
And that's a real important distinction, because as we know, any kind of move can be disruptive and an upheaval and difficult to get through. So the more you can make it a straight shot from point A to point B, where people are going to be happy for a long period of time, that's very valuable. So for free, you can't beat that.
Yes.
How do people contact you?
Can't beat the price, no. So we have a website, obviously, oasissenior.advisors.com/Jacksonville. And you can see us and our team. It's my wife and I, and then we have 3 other advisor teams working with us in the area. We cover from the Georgia border all the way down through New Smyrna. So we kind of have all of Northeast Florida covered. We do that. Our main office phone is 904-386-5708. We'll answer that most any time. It's a phone that we carry with us, as you know. And then there's email, and that you can connect with us on the website. I think you're going to try to type that email in. It's a little bit long to give verbally, but yeah, email as well.
So would you say that it's typically the family member that contacts you, or the senior who's actually looking for a new home, or some combination?
It's about 50-50. Sometimes it's the adult children who, we get a lot of calls in January, right after the holidays, when the adult children have visited mom and dad. They hadn't seen them in a while, and they're a little bit shocked at the decline. So we get a lot of calls then. but also the clients themselves, the seniors themselves begin to realize something's going on, and we'll get calls from them. And we get calls from hospitals, we get calls from rehab centers, we get calls from elder law attorneys, we get calls from a lot of different resources. Anybody that deals with seniors, um, reaches out to us for our, our personal touch in finding the right place for our clients.
Well, one of the things that really stands out for me, David, is your commitment to education and to providing the most honest service with a high quality of integrity. It's kind of the word that comes to me, having known you for quite a while. So I just can't speak high enough about that. And what you bring to the table is just an incredible amount of information and compassion.
Well, thank you. It's good to hear it. It's what we strive for. It's what our goal is, to do this, to do it right, to do it with integrity, to do it with compassion. And it's when you've made that right match and you go back and you see your clients and they're happy and they're doing better than they were doing at home and they give you a big hug, that's everything. It says you've done a good job. And I just love, because this population, they're very trusting and they're very vulnerable, and they can get easily taken advantage of. And I've seen too often where people have been taken advantage of before we get there. And I just love being able to come alongside and help them and end up with a good result. It's very satisfying.
So how much in advance do you think is recommended for somebody to contact you before they're actually ready? Do you have an idea of time frame?
Ideally, you should be thinking about this and learning what's out there. Knowledge is power. We've all heard that. And I do get contacted people that aren't really thinking about moving for 2 or 3 more years. And I love it because I can show them, I can say, let's go on some tours. Here's what these places are like. So now you know what is out there so that you can make a better decision when the time comes, because you know what's on the other side. So I like people to think in advance and let's go and let's kick some tires and see what's doing. Then they call me back a couple of years later, say, hey, Dave, we're ready now. Is there anything new on the market? Should we look at anything else? Let's go. And we do it that way. But I've also, I was called by Mayo Clinic emergency room to come down and get someone placed that day. They didn't want to send them back home. They couldn't admit them. They said, can you help this person?
Wow.
And we did that too. So, it's all extremes. I prefer the better time frame, but we can handle it any way it comes.
Anything else that you think would be important for people to know before we close?
No, just to kind of go back and knowledge is power. Know what's out there. It is quite a maze. Everything is different. The pricing is different. There's little, and if you don't get out and explore that, you can end up paying thousands of dollars more a month than what you have to, if you don't know what all is out there. So find a local source that knows the places that can help you, just like you would if you were buying a house. And then they can uncover the little hidden gems and find the little nuances that are going to make it successful for you, as you do every day. And so just use us. We're here. We're free. There's no obligation, no cost to do that.
Would you repeat your telephone number one more time, please?
904-386-5708.
David, you are a gem. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks for the opportunity.
My pleasure.
Take care.